What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the Den. I am your host, Honcho. Thank you for joining me today. Man, we got some shit to talk about. We're gonna talk about this Ancestry ad that I've been hearing a lot about. Shout out to Ms. V. Darko for sending me the article. We're gonna get into it. But if you're not familiar, man, make sure you tune in live 10 p.m. every night, 10 p.m. to midnight. We go live discussing the topic of the day and just kind of what's going on in the world. You can call in, share your thoughts, express your feelings. Whether you agree or disagree, we're all friends in the Den, and ultimately it's about seeing different perspectives on all sides of the story. So it don't matter how you feel, you're always welcome in the Den at 10. So apparently Ancestry put out this ad. I heard about it a couple of days ago. I didn't really get a chance to look into it. And it's supposed to be depicting, I guess, a white guy and a black chick back in slave days, and they're supposed to be escaping to the north. I saw the commercial before this part. I haven't read the article, so I'm gonna read the article live to give my personal thoughts and opinions. But it's more the media shenanigans. What killed me is a couple of things before we get into it. It's what's with all the fucking commercials with all these interracial couples. Like it's a thing now. I don't know what percentage of America is made up of interracial couples. I don't really think it's that big of a percent. But if you look like every other commercial, you got that Geico commercial, you had the Cheerios commercial from way back, you got a couple other commercials, this commercial. If you can remember another commercial that I didn't mention, drop that in the comments below, because I'm trying to remember all of them. I might have to do something special on all the interracial commercials that are going on. But let me know if I forgot one. Drop that in the comment section below. And, just let me know how you feel. Man, all comments are welcome and appreciated. Make sure you're following the Den on all the proper social medias at Den Show Live on Instagram and Twitter. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's see what the fuck is going on here. More Hollywood shit going on. All right, so it's irresponsible, a historical depiction. Ancestry accused of whitewashing slavery with a romance ad. Interesting. Hey, we all need a little bit of love, right? Eli Rosenberg, April 18th. This is a Washington Post article. I'll make sure to put the link in the description below to this article, and I'll put the link in the description so you can watch the commercial. I'm not going to show it here. YouTube does whatever the fuck YouTube does sometimes, so it is that. Anyway, advertising by DNA testing company that depicted a mixed race couple during the era of slavery is widely criticized for whitewashing the brutality that marked interracial sexual relations at the time. The ad was posted by Ancestry earlier this month, but began to draw attention Thursday after it was noticed by some social media users. It depicted a black woman running to an apparent suitor while a white man, excuse me, I'm fucking up, man. It depicted a black woman, god damn, imagine if it was a white woman, a black dude, it would not be a fucking commercial, right? They play as fuck up. It depicted a black woman running to an apparent suitor and a white man who held a ring out to her. We can escape to the north, the man said. There's a place where we can be together across the border. Will you leave with me? Are they going to North Canada? Because sitting north was just as bad as the south for the most part. Don't let them say that bullshit. But anyway, the ad was seemingly targeted at people who might be curious whether they have any mixed race heritage. Without you, the story stops here. The ad noted, uncover the lost chapters of your family history with Ancestry. Now here's one thing, marketing is, that's a hell of a marketing ploy. You ask any motherfucking, especially that's why they targeted black women. You ever try to date a black chick? I'm talking shit, this is social commentary, so fuck how you feel. And you'd be like, oh, you black? I'm mixed with some Indian, and I got some Jamaican or some shit. It's all black, goddammit. But, motherfuckers will say some shit. So, Ancestry is targeting the right person, the right people. Because motherfuckers want to be everything but black, goddammit. You better love who you are. Anyway, I'll make sure to put the link up there to that so y'all can catch that out, catch the video, the commercial. The social media users were quick to point out what they say were fallacies put forth by the commercial. Studies have shown African Americans are more likely to have more mixed DNA than European Americans. Report looking at 23andMe customers found that self-identified African Americans were on average 24% European according to their genome, while European Americans were only 0.2% African. Slavery was marked by sexual relations that played out after a fraught power dynamic between slave owners and their slaves, raising questions about the consent, even in the best circumstances, and outright rape in the worst. I ain't gonna go detail for detail. We're just gonna kind of skim through this, see what kind of points, what kind of highlights, and just kind of skim through. I ain't gonna read this shit word for word. We're gonna get to see what I think about this. Irresponsible historical depiction of the relationship between white men and black women during the period of chattel slavery that completely disregards the power dynamics and the trauma of sexual exploitation. That's Clint Smith, PhD candidate at Harvard. New York Times Magazine reporter Nicole Hannah-Jones said that while it's true that many black people found they had European ancestry, it ain't because of no Guess that damn slavery love story. I edited it out. Reprehensible. And again, I guess there's a bunch of people's tweets. Others point out that the ad positions the white man as a savior. Incredibly problematic. It's messy. They're hinting at something that's really a history of sexual exploitation and disempowerment. As the attention grew, Ancestry announced that it was removing the ad from television and YouTube. Ancestry is committed to telling important stories from history. This ad was intended to represent one of those stories. We very much appreciate the feedback we received and apologize for any offense that the ad may have caused. Look, Jack, Ancestry don't give a fuck about telling no goddamn story. They're just trying to log your DNA so that, they can sell you some shit. Oh, you have these health problems, you have these health issues, so they can start targeting you with, shit that you have a propensity to lean towards because, in your DNA, there's certain of us have certain health issues, certain of us are more likely to have other problems. And so once they have a nice catalog of all this information, you start seeing more targeted ads to your health problems that you haven't disclosed to anybody. Don't be surprised after it happens, after you did your Ancestry shit. I won't even get my dog the little doggy Ancestry shit. I ain't gonna do that shit. Said, didn't answer a question about the television channels they played the ad. Bloomberg reported Ancestry planning an initial public offering in the near future. Interesting. Prevalence of rape and sexual violence during slavery has been documented in the accounts of historians and writers such as Frederick Douglass, who was born a slave to a slave mother and a father who may have been one of his white masters. 2016, team of geneticists, including Dr. Simon Gravel of McGill University, found evidence of such accounts within DNA strands of African American population study. Scientists can use stretches of DNA to date when it was added to the genome. That's interesting too. Most of the Native American DNA that researchers found, 1.2% on average, was in tiny chunks, indicated that mixing had taken place a long time ago, around the time first slavery brought to the American colonies. But European DNA in the population was found in longer chunks, leading researchers to estimate its introduction to the period before the Civil War, according to the Times. There was one more genetic tale. X chromosomes, which are inherited in higher percentages from women, had greater African ancestry than other chromosomes. Dr. Gravel and his colleagues believe that this variation is explained by European men and African women producing children. In other words, slave owners raping the women they held captive, the Times wrote. Now, let's talk about this shit. Let's talk about a couple of things. And like I said, I'll give my opinions that I kind of already have to give my opinions, but it is what it is. Like I said, again, I'll put the link to the commercial. I want you to check it out. Let me know how you feel. I'll put the link to the article so you can check that shit out. But marketing is a motherfucker. That's why I look at it. I look at it like this is not to disavow the shit that happened. Like this commercial in itself is kind of brushing over that. Yeah. And they are romanticizing it in a bit in the sense of, let's run to the north where everything will be peachy keen. Shit wasn't done. Look, I'm in the south. I'm in H-Town, Houston, Texas. I know how it goes down here. Some people call Texas the Midwest, but whatever. I know how it goes. I understand, the feelings and the rhetoric behind all this shit. I'm familiar with it. But this commercial is marketing at its finest. And what it is, it's catering to a certain group, a certain demographic, to get more of these people to, submit their DNA, submit their chromosomes or whatever the fuck it is, to the database, right? So they can study it, so they can tell you, you this, that, and the third. But what do they do with the rest of that information? That's what's more concerning. And so as I was joking earlier, you ever tried dating a black chick, she's gonna tell you she mixed with everything. This caters to that thought process. I don't know how much y'all have actually looked into marketing and the emotional connections that it has, and that's what gets people to buy, that's what gets people to move, that's the call to action and things like that. So you're gonna have a lot of people who are going to be, I always knew I was this, my grandma said I was this, or she said we had some this in our history. And they're gonna go and they're gonna run out and wanna go get one of these tests to validate that. It touches on that emotional connection. And I hate to say it, a lot of black people don't like just being black. They always gotta have some other shit. Man, I'm cool. I don't know if there's some mixed down the line, I'm black. Like, I don't care about none of that extra shit. I'm not finna do any of that other shit. And the family said, we had this and I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black man and I'm happy to be a black man. Not trying to change that for shit else. And this is not to disavow and to knock anybody else's race. I'm just happy with who the fuck I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like I say, there is a deep-rooted you know, we talk about self-hate in the black community, and I think this caters towards that. Well, you know, let me see if maybe, you know, way down the line I do have some, and, you know, and you can throw that out there on your fucking dating sites and shit like that. But no, really, was Ancestry in the wrong for this? Yeah, absolutely. Because, again, like I said, it runs to the north shit. It wasn't all gravy in the north. Everything wasn't perfect. It wasn't nobody, people weren't accepting. A lot of times they send motherfuckers back. Or they had slaves up in the north, they just weren't using them in the same fashion out in the fields and shit they had them inside the house, you know. So again, yeah, I do feel like it was romanticizing this issue. I do feel like they were pandering to a certain demographic in this issue, because what it is, let's think about it. If the white dude's fucking the chick, she's the one having the baby, right? So now you're saying, okay, well, maybe you have some black DNA because your great-great-granny or whoever got fucked by a white dude, all right? Cool. It's not affecting necessarily his lineage, or you're not looking at it from, you know, his perspective. You're not looking at it as a white person. You're not looking at that, oh, well, maybe I'm mixed with black because, you know, you're not looking at it like that. This ad is catering specifically to black women primarily. And I think maybe some black men too who are not confident, not happy in themselves, man. And again, it is what it is. Do I think it's despicable? Yeah and no, right? And like I said, I try to look at things from every angle. From a marketing standpoint, I think it's genius, you know. It's genius, but it's kind of stupid because I guess, you know, we live in a day and age of outrage over everything, right? And so maybe they didn't plan it properly. Maybe there was a different way they could tell that same story to cater to that same demographic. Don't be surprised if they go find a way to retool this ad and come out with something. Again, don't be surprised with the next couple of ads they drop, it's something catering to that demographic. I'm telling you, they're targeting black women now. I don't know how many have used it. I don't know how many people are out there going and searching it, but I'll guarantee you that's what they're targeting now to get more of them interested in, you know, getting their ancestry discovered. I would be curious to see what type of videos that ad was supposed to be targeted towards and things like that. But I guarantee that this was a push towards black individuals to you know, reach out and get them to use the 23andMe or answer whatever the fuck shit is service. So again, it's interesting. But so from a marketing aspect, it was, I see what they're trying to do. But the story, the way they push it, the way that they're trying to, you know, convey the message was very flawed. And again, in this outrage culture, people don't get mad over everything. But yeah, this was a stupid fucking ad in the long run, you know. But again, like I say, if you're trying to make money, you're trying to market, I'm not knocking. You do what you got to do. This is the day and age we live in. You got to make it happen. But I think the ad was fucking dumb. You know, to make it seem like they're just madly in love, and she's just, oh yes, it is what it is now. Maybe she was smiling, maybe she think about the thought of escaping from slavery, at least working in the field. I don't fucking know, man. You know, I try to make light of certain shit. Everything ain't to be made light of, but I'm just laughing because these are actors, these are artists, not a real fucking story. So interesting. I want to know how you feel, man. I want to know what you think. You know, I want to know what's on your mind. Do you agree that the ad was stupid? Do you think it was a good ad? Do you think that people are overblowing this out of proportion? And I'd be curious, you know, again, I'd like to know, you know, what race are you when you're looking at this and how you see it from your perspective? It don't matter. I just want to know, you know, different backgrounds, I think, see things differently. And I'd be interested to know, you know, how people are seeing this and from what demographic they fall in line with. But hey, Jack, like I said, Den at 10, we're going to talk about this a little bit tonight, as we do every night, live, 10 p.m. Don't matter what day you see this video, just slide in the Den at 10. We're going to be talking about some shit that you definitely want to hear. You can call in, express your thoughts, express your feelings on this and whatever's on your mind. Again, I thank you for watching the video. Thank you for allowing me to chop it up with you for a few. I am your host, Ed Honcho. With that being said, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I'll catch y'all next time, man. I'm out.